some of that moss bark on. Hopefully that will re-establish itself before the heat of the summer comes. Now this is a deciduous tree and it is prone to pushing out new little branches on the trunk. They're not actually wanted, so they've got to come off. And what I do with any new ones as the summer progresses is I rub them off. You just literally rub them off with your thumb. But they're not required unless you want to start a totally new branch, in which case you might want to leave one on. Now, there's a lot of dieback on this tree. As I said, I thought I'd lost it. So anything poking up on this branch that's not dead, as you can see, these bits are just breaking off that dead wood. But what I've got to do is, on these extended ends that were allowed to grow last year because I nearly lost the tree, I've got to stop them in their tracks by going back to the first visible bud. And then, because it's had damage done to the end of the branch, it should push back farther down the branch and bud. But I'm not going to be able to do that much on some of the branches. Yeah, I thought that was dead. In fact, I think that whole branch is gone. We'll take it off. They don't look too good. We'll take that off because that leaves that little tiny shoot there with buds on. Now if that grows, that little bit there will actually thicken up as the year goes on, but I'm going to have trouble with this tree simply because of the dieback. I'm going to lose a lot of my choices. But basic principle, go back to where you see a live bud and then hope it will push back. We don't want that at all. We don't want these little bits sticking out here, interfere with the trunk. I'll get to you lot round there in a minute. That's a sticky up bit, so that comes off. Some sticky up bits might have to be left on the grounds that they're the only bits with good buds. A lot of this is just dead. Did lose a lot of this last year. I'm just going to have to hope that it pushes back and is reinvigorated by its recent repot. You probably can't see them from back there, but on this thicker branch, there and there are two buds, right on the branch. They're not on a little twig, they're actually on the main branch. Now, when those grow, that will thicken that branch up again. Yeah, I'm going to have to hope something shoots out of there. See, this silly little thing here, I'm going to have to leave because the buds are out here. If you take too much off, effectively the tree thinks, well, there's nothing down there to need nutrients, I'll stop sending them. And you can actually have a complete branch die. You have to keep the sap flowing. And it will flow to the places where it can be used the most. Now, unfortunately, that's counterproductive with bonsai because that means the strongest branches are going to get all the goodness and the weaker branches don't get so much. That's just how a tree works. So what you do is you take off an awful lot more of the vigorous branches and evenly distribute the wealth, so to speak. And it does work. It does actually work. So at the moment I'm just trimming the trunk because there's lots of little sprout outs. Actually, that's a little sprout from the trunk and I'm going to leave it. I'm going to let that branch develop because looking at the front of the tree, I've got a large gap between those two branches and this one sits in the gap. So I'm going to allow that one to grow, but I'm going to make it grow in the direction I want and not in the direction it chooses. You do that by selecting a bud that's heading in the direction you want. So that one can stay. This one, however, can go. Right, I can't do any more with that branch. I think this bit out the end is dead. So I think I'm actually going to lose that section of that branch. All I can do is take it off and see if it will bud. But I suspect that's lost. That's probably lost. There's buds all along this section. There's a bud there, there's buds here. So this branch is okay, this bit not so much. But because it's got a live branch here, it may bud. Depends how quickly it takes off. Right, Now this branch here, again, I've got a bud right at the base there, so that will help thicken that up. Yeah, that bit's dead. There's no point in leaving that on. Now these are live branches, they have buds, but they're right up the end. And I think I'm just going to have to leave them. Just hope they sprout back. You can go back to there. Got a pair of buds there. And this one can go back to there because it's far too long. And that silly little bit there I'm going to have to leave because it will draw sap to feed that bud. And then hopefully it will bud back. So that's that one done. Do I want a branch down there? No, I don't. See, that should have been cut off last year. That took energy out of the tree in a place where I didn't want it. Wasted. Right. Let's do this other lower one here. You can see that's dead, as is that, which means that whole section is. So that's gone. Take that back to a bud. See, all the buds on this silly little long thing are out here. So all I can do is take it back to one and hope it will bud back. That's all you can do. Now these little bits, that little bit's dead. The two little bits either side aren't. That's dead. The one good thing about little twigs that are dead, you've only got to touch them and they fall off. You don't have to make a decision. The way to decide is to cut it, and if it's green it's alive, but it's a bit late after that point, isn't it? Because you've just cut it. You can feel. I know that branch is alive just by gently, just by gently touching it. That one's got a big fat bud on the end, so that one can come off, leaving the smaller one to draw the sap. That's dead. That's alive. I've got a bud there, I'll go back to that one. Yeah, that whole end bit's dead, so that's going to have to go. I've lost a lot of this tree. But it will push on. And it's been repotted. Nice rejuvenated roots. This is all dead round here. Can I see any buds? No, we'll just hope that it will manage to push one out. Okay, so you get the general idea. I'll speed the rest up. Bring you back in there. This has got form until you get to there, and then we've got this silly section of straight. Now you could take the bull by the horns and actually cut that off and wait for a new branch to grow and give it some shape, but what I'm going to try and do is cover it up by growing some branches along it that will come out and hide it, because otherwise I lose the height. and it will then be slightly out of proportion. But the apex of the tree here is lost. So I'm going to have to start again. Luckily I've got a shed load of little branches here that I will get a canopy from this year without a problem. But yeah, I mean the top of the tree suffered the worst in that drought. Obviously sun beating down on the top of the tree got it first. And I'm going to have to try and encourage little tiny sprouts to grow and recover an apex and see what I can do. And I can't do it all at once. All I can do is take the lead buds off and ask it to push the secondary buds out and start new little branches. Probably going to be it now. This branch is too long and could do with coming back here, but until I get some growth in this area it would look silly, so I'm going to leave this bit on the end for now and I'll see. There's buds here, here, here. If I can get a bit of structure to that branch it will look okay at that size and it will get a bit of depth from this bit here. This is an in-your-face branch. In fact, both of these branches are in your face. Now, strictly speaking, they need to be shortened, but I can't shorten them until they bud back. But they're in your face. They shouldn't be. They should be spread out nearer the trunk. So we'll have a go at that. This one is a straggly looking thing. That needs to shoot out more. Again, let me just twist this round a bit. I'll have to pick the camera up, won't I? Hang on while I fiddle. Yeah, the chat's meaningless if you're looking at the side of the tree and I'm looking at the front. Yeah, so we've got our nice aspect of the pot. We've got our trunk set slightly offset, very slightly to the left of centre, and that's because the first curve moves right. So the central point is here, right up through the central aspect. So that's okay, happy with that. Now what I was getting at is this branch is too long, it needs coming back to here. But I'm not going to do it yet because I need to draw the sap with these twigs on the end with buds on. And then it will start budding as the vigour gets back to the tree. This will become a branch to fill in that gap because this gap is quite large. These are what I was talking about in-your-face branches. They need cutting back quite dramatically. It shouldn't come right out here. It needs to get back to about there and form a nice sort of shaped plane on the front of the trunk there, but not in your face. Shouldn't feel as though it's poking you in the eye. This is a weak branch and it's its first branch. That's important. I need that one to bush up. So I've left these long. Draw the sap, get it to back bud. And then this silly little straight bit that I was talking about, this will come round here and hopefully I will get a nice apex, but it's going to take time. This also is a bit too long to be near the top of the tree and it's heading backwards, so it needs coming off about there, but let's get some buds going first. So there's quite a lot of work for this tree to do to get back to look nice. It'll actually look quite nice when the leaves come out and you'll wonder what the hell I'm worried about, but the structure underneath the leaves is important. And the time to see the structure is when there aren't any leaves. Once this is in full leaf, you've got a job to see what the hell's going on. Anyway, that's it. That's that one. As I said, that's an old tree, that one. And you see what I mean about it looking better at the base without the moss. I know the moss is nice and natural looking, but it gives the tree an impression that it's been in that pot a long time. Well, it has, hasn't it? It's been in there a good half an hour. And hopefully that moss will re-establish itself, but I'll stop it growing up the trunk this time. So yeah, a big one. That's one of my bigger ones. In fact, it is the tallest apart from my pine tree. Can't do the pine tree for a while yet, that's not in active growth yet. And my maples are coming on, but they're probably going to be at least a week before they're in a position where I can repot them. So that'll be the last repot on the bonsai front for a while. And You might think I've taken a lot off. I'll play with the editing software. What I might be able to do now is take the clip from the beginning and like impose it, but I'll see what I can do. No guarantees. Okay, thanks for watching, and now I'll spend the next hour cleaning up. Marvellous, that's my favourite job, cleaning up. See, you can even hear the foggers in the kitchen. Thanks for dropping by. See you next time. Oh, Hornbeam, by the way.